On the evening of March 22, 1959, a group of young cavers, including 20-year-old Oxford undergrad Neil Moss, gathered at the entrance of Peak Cavern in Derbyshire, England. Moss, passionate about cave exploration and a member of the British Speleological Association, had eagerly volunteered to explore a newly discovered shaft. What was ahead in the depths of the cave? The air was thick with anticipation and unease as they descended into the darkness, unaware that this expedition would turn into one of the most challenging cave rescues in history, the descent into Peak Cavern. The day began with high spirits and anticipation as the 8 cavers equipped themselves with ropes, lamps, helmets, and other necessary caving materials. Their destination was an unexplored chamber, 1,000 feet from the cave entrance. The journey required navigating tight passageways, crawling through muddy tunnels, and overcoming rough, jagged rocks. Upon reaching the chamber, Moss and his companions marveled at its beauty. They prepared to explore the 40-foot deep shaft discovered 2 weeks prior. Moss, slender and enthusiastic, believed he could navigate the narrow passage. His companions provided him with a 75-foot ladder and cautioned him about a twisted section of the shaft, the descent and the dilemma. At around 3:30 p.m., Moss began his descent, lowering the ladder ahead of him. He encountered the first challenge at the corkscrew twist, but managed to push through, reaching a 10-foot horizontal passageway. Crawling through, he faced an 18-foot vertical drop, excited to be the first to explore it. However, a large boulder blocked his path at the bottom. Attempting to dislodge it, Moss became stuck with the ladder beneath him. Realizing he couldn't lift his feet to climb back up, Moss tried to remain calm. He called for help, and his companions attempted to pull him up, using the ladder. But it got stuck. A rope was tossed down. But every effort to pull him up failed, with the ropes breaking against the sharp rocks. The situation became dire as the air quality deteriorated due to carbon dioxide buildup. The rescue efforts. The rescue mission escalated quickly. Volunteers from all over England, including the Royal Air Force, Navy, police, and various caving groups, arrived to help. The polluted air made it difficult for rescuers to reach Moss, with many losing consciousness and having to be dragged out. Ron Peters managed to tie a rope around Moss, but pulling it tightened around his chest, making breathing harder. Oxygen tanks were brought in, providing some relief, but the attempts to free Moss continued unsuccessfully. On the morning of March 23rd, 18-year-old typist June Bailey arrived, small enough to navigate the tight space. She reached Moss but had to retreat due to the foul air. The final hours. Despite continuous efforts, including pumping compressed air to clear the toxic air and smoothing the walls of the shaft, Moss remained stuck. Heavy rain added to the challenges, flooding parts of the cave and forcing rescuers to retreat temporarily. By the night of March 23rd, rescuers could no longer hear Moss breathing. An RAF doctor confirmed Moss's death at approximately 3 a.m. on March the 24th. Neil Moss's father, Eric, who had been waiting at the cave entrance, decided against further rescue attempts to avoid endangering more lives. The shaft became Moss's final resting place, sealed with loose rocks. The chamber was later named Moss Chamber in his honor, and an inscription was made nearby. The tragic story of Neil Moss remains a poignant reminder of the dangers of cave exploration. His bravery and the relentless efforts of his rescuers have been commemorated in books, articles, and documentaries. The Peak Cavern incident continues to be a significant event in caving history, symbolizing both the spirit of exploration and the risks involved. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the tragic and gripping story of Neil Moss and the Peak Cavern incident. If you found this video compelling, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more fascinating stories from history and beyond. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story and any other historical events you'd like us to cover. Drop your comments below and let's keep the conversation going. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. For more in-depth content and exclusive behind the scenes, follow us on our social media channels. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.